Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissick and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissick.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Hey, Dana. Happy New Year. Happy to have 2021 finally come along, right?
I know. That's right. Happy New Year. Yes, it's we were talking earlier. It seems like it's been forever, and at the same time it went by slow, and then it's fast and it's here, and it's already January the 4th today for us. So
Yep, absolutely. Crazy stuff. I always love a new year. I've always been one of those that I go on a trip after Christmas, and I always tell the girl that decorates for me, I want everything down. I don't want to see a thing of Christmas as soon as I get back home. So we got home January the 2nd, and no Christmas like we'd never even had it. So I love it because I just want to start thinking about the new year, start looking at my goals for the new year and start getting to work on it. But then you and I talked also about having that Sunday night trepidation of, oh my God, I want it to slow down because it's going to be here and everything's going to start running 110 miles an hour. And I'm going to try to be catching up because everybody's going to want to do business tomorrow, which is what happened today.
Oh yeah, it's definitely what happened today for me. I had like 2 or 3 different people text me and say, do you have a minute to talk? I'm like, it's Monday. Like it's the first Monday back. I'll call you at 7:30 tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I asked you before that I forgot to ask you, how was Montana?
Oh my gosh, I fell in love with Montana. I think, I've always said, my friend is always my running partner, Karen, is always, I wish I'd go in on a mountain house with us. And I'm like, girl, I can't stand the altitude. I'm not going to do it. And my feet hurt when I ski. I'm not doing it. So we went to Whitefish, Montana. I absolutely loved it. I think I could try to fall in love with skiing again.
Really?
The altitude, I think it's only like 6,500 feet or whatever.
Okay, I was going to ask you, did it affect you? Because like I can't do Colorado and some of that because
either. I hate it.
Me too.
I get sick and I get headaches. I don't feel good. It's awful. But no, this is perfect. It's the best of both worlds. Anna's dad got a great place on the lake that's spectacular and beautiful. So summer they do lake things. And then you drive about 10 or 15 minutes up the mountain to ski. So I fell in love. So literally Jimmy started looking on the Kelly app at real estate. Yes, loved it.
Well, the pictures looked great. I was like, oh my gosh, it looks beautiful.
Yes, and it's perfect. It wasn't so cold either. Like we went outside and spent quite a bit of time, let the kids do those little sleds and stuff. And you weren't freezing to death. I even walked one day for 40 minutes. I've hurt my back over the holidays, and so it's driving me crazy because it won't get well. And but so 2 days of not running, I'm like a crazy person. I mean, literally, it is my drug to help me with my mood, and so I haven't been I had ran, but it'd been a while. And so I thought I just got to go outside and walk. And I walked for 40 minutes and I wasn't really cold. And I don't like the cold, but my genetics doctor said I need to do more cold. So I made a conscious effort to not like bundle up so much that I was hot or anything, but loved it. I could do a place there.
I wondered if you could after you went. It was funny though. I had to commented on one of Bailey's pictures. I loved so much every picture that I saw that any of y'all posted. Amelia was like right next to Ellie.
Oh yes. When there's a big cousin involved, you are chopped liver.
Yeah.
The only important is that big cousin.
Because normally she's right all up on Mimi, and now I'm like, Ellie was there.
We laughed because she was too scared to go down the sled with anybody but Ellie. And we looked at that and we said, well, to her, she is kind of an adult, or at least she's the adultier adult.
That's right.
So we're going to talk about goals today, and we're going to kind of look back on what we said we were going to do for 2020. I know everything went to heck in a handbasket for a lot of people, but I had a couple of ahas from even just looking back at my goals to get ready for this call. And one was how few times I put mine in a 30-day at a glance calendar, which I love. I do it. Gary Keller taught me this system 28 years ago, and I've never veered off of it. I figure he's as successful as he is, he's never veered off of it. I'm not going to veer off of it either.
Well, for people who don't know what that is, tell them, like, you only look at it every 30, or it's just 30 days at a time, right?
Yeah, right. So when you open it up, you see your whole month. You see a
Yeah.
whole 30 days of activities. And he used to, when I
Yep.
would set goals with him, ever so often, he'd make me photocopy and send it to him.
Mm.
And what he was looking for is to make sure that what I said was on my goal sheet, my activities, my daily activities and appointments matched up with what I said I wanted, which is a great habit for anybody to get into, right? Ever so often look at your calendar and say, all these things I'm spending time for and appointments for, are they really activities that are part of achieving that goal? And so my interesting point on that was, though, I look at this daily. I don't bet you one day doesn't go by that I don't look at this 30-day at a glance calendar. And yet I didn't look at those goals, but probably a handful of times.
Yeah.
So that was a big aha for me, that maybe I need to visit those even more, like part of, a regular schedule.
Yeah.
I go ahead and flip, because I put mine at the back of uh, planner,
Yeah.
and I put my word for the year at the top. I put what must be true by December 31st, 2020. And then I just made a list. And as I was looking through them to check which ones I'd actually accomplished and which ones I hadn't, my other big aha was the fact that the ones I didn't accomplish could be narrowed down to a couple of reasons. One could be they were too big.
Yeah.
So a good example of that is I had written that my number 11 on here was, I want to reread great books that I've read before. Stop looking for new books, because most of the great leaders I know don't go, unless they're trying to check on something they believe, if it's still true or not, they don't actually go look for new books to get new ideas, right? They go to the tried and true ideas of the old great books. And so I had put that I wanted to reread 10 of the great books that I felt like had been super impactful for me. And I got 2 of them done. So my aha there was, if the goal was too big, I didn't succeed at it. So maybe make it smaller, like maybe 2, 3 next year.
So I have a question around that. Actually, you just made me think of something I didn't think of before. Did you list out the 10 that you wanted to reread, or did you just say 10?
No, I just said 10. That's another great point. I wasn't specific. I didn't actually see. And so probably my brain didn't do anything with that, because if I had went and got those books and just made a stack and looked at that stack every day, how much more successful would I have been if I'd looked over there every day? And there's a great idea, Dana. Thank you. That's what I'm going to do with my books this year. Now, and if I have to pick 3, it's going to be harder, right?
Yep.
But put them over there and look at them.
Yep.
So that it's a reminder that before I got to get those read, right? So that was big. And then the other interesting thing that I found was the ones that I did accomplish, the reason I accomplished them is, one, there was maybe a little more pressure around doing them. And I'll give you the example. My number 1 was to make sure I did a Mimi and Pop-Up Camp. And so thank you for the cute t-shirts. That put a little extra accountability, that you had been so thoughtful enough to do that for me, that it put a little extra accountability on me to do it. And so that helped. And I still went down to the wire and wasn't sure if I was going to do it. But I think the thing that helped is just to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
We didn't have it all planned out. It wasn't perfect, but we learned so much. It was still so good.
Mm-hmm.
And we learned so much from doing the one. So a couple of ideas I might do next year is I might record it, because we had a lot of people say, hey, I'd love to have an idea of how to do that and what you did. So that's an idea.
I saw your Facebook blowing up with, will you share the template for the day, the agenda for the day?
Yeah. So I need to do that. That'd be a great thing to pass on to people. And, but again, the point on this was, I didn't wait till it's perfect. I didn't get overwhelmed that there is a million things I'd love to put in the day, but I only have so many hours. That you learn so much by just going ahead and stepping into it and doing it, that you couldn't learn and you wouldn't have known if I'd spent forever preparing and planning. And so that was a big aha for me, was if it's important enough, just pull the trigger and don't wait till it's perfect. I think we tend to wait till something's perfect. So that was kind of a couple of ahas I had around some of my goals. And then what I did is I took the goals that I didn't accomplish, and I asked myself, why do I think I didn't accomplish it? Number 1, do I want to move it to next year, to to this year now? And if so, could I really kind of pinpoint why I think I didn't accomplish that, and what could I change to make sure that I do accomplish that?
Yeah.
So what were your ha's?
Well, I think one of my biggest ones was every year I normally do a vision board, and last year I did not do one for whatever reason. And so I think because of that, I didn't revisit the goals that I had set, kind of similar to you. I think a lot of us get gung-ho at the beginning of the year, or even the end of the previous year, and we're ready to make our goal list. Like, I couldn't wait. Actually, one of the things Adam and I do every year, we've made this habit now when we're in Florida the week after Christmas, is we take a whole day and his mom watches his kids, and we go somewhere quiet, like the pool or the beach, somewhere, and just us two, and we have our planners and we plan out everything. Like, we time block for the year of when we're going to be where and when we want to take our vacations, and we make our goal list, and if we have time, we do our vision board. Like, we just kind of do the whole thing together. And so I guess just really because of the rush of Christmas this year, I had forgotten our planners. So I had to order and overnight our planners down to Florida. We got them at the condo we were staying at. They got lost in some mailroom. It was this whole big ordeal. But anyway, but we finally got it because I said, if we don't do it while we're here, we won't do it. And I think that we get so gung-ho about, we spend this time, well, I didn't used to do this, but now that I'm in the habit of spending the time to set the stuff, but then to not really look at it for the rest of the year. And that's just such a waste, I feel like. So I had a similar aha to you around that one. But my second aha was that really my top two kind of ended up going together. And actually, you and I have both been a fan of one of your coaches, Dan Sullivan's new book, Who Not How. And actually, Adam and I listened to that for the second time on the drive back from Florida, and I got even more ahas from listening to it than from reading it. But it was funny because my biggest one from last year, my word of the year, was intentional, and I really wanted to just have a lot more intentionality around everything that I did and being intentional with things. And it's stuff that I really want to do and I intend to do, and I care about doing all of this stuff, but it just doesn't happen because life gets in the way and work gets in the way and all these things. So a big one for me was finding and attracting a great who. And for me, that was Heather. And so my number two kind of went with my number one because of Heather, I was able to really be intentional. And I feel like I was much more intentional last year than what I would have been even in any years previous before. Really, I mean, really, in all actuality, like the Mimi and Pop Pop camp shirts probably wouldn't have come to fruition if I hadn't have had a hit. You know what I mean? It's like I think I think all these great ideas and I want to do them all, but it's just so anyway, that was an aha for me, that sometimes you have some that will mix and mingle and go together.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've always said, if you're not hitting a goal that you have, you're missing a system or a person.
Yep.
And your perfect example of that was Heather. And I love what you shared with me earlier about using, my question to you was, I love this idea because I'm the same way. I have a million ideas and I think they're all great. But I love the idea of how you actually got it from your idea to Heather implementing. So why don't you share with people, because I think that's a great tip that people can use.
Yeah, I think that we miss the boat a lot of times by like that one missing communication piece of, hey, we want to do all these great things. And sometimes I think even as real estate agents, I think that's why I just had this conversation today with an agent, an individual agent doing 80 plus units a year with no admin. And it's funny because I think a lot of times the reason why they won't hire their first assistant is because they don't know what to tell them to do, or they don't even have like the time to figure out what to tell them to do. They just know that they need somebody to do something. And I think that's similar when you hire somebody in a personal role or in a director of growth role too. So we just had to make it really simple. So mostly what we use is just the Notes app on my iPhone. And I make a list of every time I think about something, if it's somebody's anniversary, or if it's, I saw this book and I want to send it to somebody, or if I saw on Facebook somebody just had a baby and we need to, like, whatever it is that I want to be intentional around, I just add that immediately. I make myself stop. I add it into a note, and then Heather has the list because it's shared with her. And then that way she can go on and implement those things. Actually, she laughs and says that now in her house, she's turned one of her guest bedrooms into a storage facility for me that I need to rent. She
That's
said, she said her husband is like, what is all this crap in the guest bedroom? And she's like, oh, that's all the stuff Dana orders that she ships here that I have to send to people.
oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I know, but like my favorite blanket just went on sale from Nordstrom that I love to gift to people. So, and they're never ever on sale. They're on sale like twice a year. And so,
Is it the barefoot one?
yeah,
I love that one. Yeah.
it's my
Oh,
favorite.
we're so similar. Well, you saw my gift room.
I know.
Seriously.
I know, but so I just ordered 7 of them and I'm shipped them to Heather's house. Sorry, Heather, because I'm always like, hey, let's send so-and-so a blanket, or like, let's send them, and so it's just like little things. But if it's up to me, it ain't happening really.
Yeah, love that. I love it. And what a great tip. And I think that notes, we all have an iPhone that does a bajillion things, to be honest with you. And I learn something new all the time about that notes section. It is my favorite app on the iPhone. And I use the heck out of it just like you do. But I just learned a great idea from you. With you saying that, I didn't know it could be a shared note.
Oh, yeah.
I all the time type it out and then send it to somebody, but I can actually make it kind of like your photo albums. You can make it shared. So what a great tip.
Yeah. And here's what we know, because if we had to use some other Google blah, blah, blah and do that, like I'm not going to, whatever is the simplest way to do it possible is what's going to work the best.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that. You also were telling me earlier, we talked about doing vision boards. And I used to do the big ones all the time, forever and ever, always. And I can't think of one thing on my vision board. Well, maybe one that didn't ever come true. And that was to fly on the Concourse jet. So I know it's going to come back because it's still in my mind that I want to do it someday, but maybe I'm just envisioning maybe it'll be my own jet. But anyway, everything on that vision board out, over the years would eventually come true. And like you said, it's kind of big and bulky. You don't want to carry it around. So tell everybody what you're using now to do your vision board.
Yeah, we'll have to link it on our next episode. So I just go on Canva. I've done this for a couple years because I told you, and I used to do the big poster boards. We would all get together in the office and everybody would make one. We cut out magazines, but I would find that I was, I couldn't find exactly what I wanted in the magazine, or we wouldn't have the right stickers, or I don't know. I'm too OCD about that stuff. And you can't just carry that big poster board around with you. And I need to have it visually in front of me all the time. So I just went on Canva, and every year I just make, and then I drag and drop pictures and put words on there and do these little things and just make it on one piece of paper. And then I can put it in my journal and put it in my Bible and put it in my planner. And I have one on my mirror in my bathroom, just like in front of me everywhere, because I really do believe there's a lot of power behind these. And it's crazy to, I had a story, gosh, I guess that was probably been 6 years ago or so. I don't remember, but one time you did my career visioning just as a agent or team leader in the big room or whatever, and someone had taken a picture. And so I had that on my vision board for 2 years because I wanted to work in the region. And so I think like it's funny to go back and look. It's not funny. It's awesome to go back and look at your past ones, because like you said, it's like you can see all of them that you've checked off. And then the ones that I haven't, either for whatever reason, I ended up not wanting to do that, or I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. Love that. I love it. Thanks for sharing that. Because to be honest with you, the only other thing I've seen that was kind of cool that I've seen someone do, a friend of mine, Doris Carlin, she has a little journal, and I noticed she cuts out pictures and does stickers and stuff for her kind of dream board. And it's a little notebook that she can carry around, because again, you can't carry your, vision board, big O, paper around with you anywhere.
No. Yeah. And you can put real things on there that are picture, I don't know. One of the things I have for next year, we'll share these, but is the John Maxwell Exchange in Nashville. So I have like a little picture of downtown Nashville, just things that you can Google and find them so much easier than flipping through a magazine.
Yeah. Love that. So you're gonna have to give us the step-by-step how to do that. Dana's course on Canva.
Right.
Canva coming soon because Linda wants it too. Okay. So a couple other things I noticed, on my things is that when I went through them, there was a couple of big ones, quite a few big ones that I didn't accomplish that I felt like were super important I kind of thought about, I always think about the one thing. I always think about the one thing. What's the one thing, and what's my end goal I'm really after? Because I can squirrel off in a million different places and be doing things that make me feel good and I like doing, but are they really getting me to where I want to go? And so I went back and picked the ones that I felt like were super important, but I didn't get accomplished. And so you and I were talking about earlier, we both now have the same coach because I just hired Terry
Yep.
Foster to help me also. And the things I want to accomplish are these big rocks that for whatever reason, I keep putting them on my goal sheet and they keep not happening, but they're too
Yeah.
important not to. So I went ahead and just hired some accountability around those for
I
next
think
year.
that's such the best thing to do though, because I've noticed that if like I sent Terry my picture of my vision board when I finished it, just texted it to her in Florida. And I said, I'm, vulnerably sharing some of these things with you. And it's because I need you to hold me accountable to them.
Yeah.
And I mean, and she wrote back and said, of course, in typical Terry fashion, can you send me a 1 through 5 for the top 3?
Yeah. That's what a good coach does, is they put it back on you into something you should be using, which, by the way, that was one of my big things for this last year. And it's for this year, is to use more of the tools that are tried and true, like the 135, the 411, the impact filter,
Yep.
all of those things.
Experience transformer.
All of those things, they're such good things because they help us go ahead and put in place the habits we need and the disciplines we need to get accomplished the activities we need to get accomplished to hit the goals.
Yeah, I love using those. That we should do an episode on maybe just our top tools. I mean, because they're so good.
Idea. Yeah, that's true. That's such a good idea. Which, by the way, I still have commitment from Dan Sullivan that he is going to be on my podcast. So just putting it out.
I'm glad you put that out there. I'm going to share on our next episode. I'm doing 21 days of manifestation with Gabrielle Bernstein, who wrote, I'm all about manifesting stuff this year.
Let's do it. Let's manifest some big O stuff. I love it. So any other thoughts on next, in one of the next sessions, what we'll do is we'll kind of talk about some of our goals and what's on your dream board for 2021. And let me go back and let me just kind of see if there's anything, I would say, the good news is I went through and I was real pleased with the goals. Like I did the Mimi and Pop-Up Camp. I increased my giving to the Salvation Army, and thank you for the big class you did. That was
I got to send you my picture of that. Yes.
Please do that, because now I'll put it on my vision board that you helped me create in Canva.
Yes, I will.
And got baptized in the Jordan River. How cool is that? Before COVID.
That's on my 5-year, by the way. Was Maxwell.
So cool. And then I kept my commitment to run on a regular basis and, slow, steady pace with my heart rate. Because that's what my genetics doctor says is the best for me to just keep the best health and to reverse aging. I did find another great functional medicine doctor. Yeah. So I'm super excited about that. That was one of my big rocks because I hadn't really looked. I just used the guy I have, and I wanted one more person that I could use for stuff like that. And so, I look back at it and, I didn't really beat, and one of my goals was to complete 2 online courses that we create for other people. And we actually created the Profit Share Mastery course that's going to roll out next week. So I'm super excited about that. So I got one of the 2 done. So most of it, I either got some of the big ones done. There was a lot of them I didn't get done. And some of them I moved over to 2021, and I'll talk about them when we talk about those. But, I didn't beat myself up about it. I just asked myself, why was it not important enough, or what was missing that I didn't get that accomplished? And again, it's almost always a who. It was too big, or there wasn't a good system around it.
Well, you just said something that gave me a big aha, which was the 2 courses. I mean, getting one done in 1 year is a big deal. I mean, that's a big project. That's a big thing.
Yeah, to be honest though, and to be fair to anybody who's sitting out there thinking that I did it in a year, it's really been 20 plus years in the making, right? Honestly. And we've actually been working on it for 2 or 3 years. So I don't want anybody to believe, oh gosh, you just did all this in a year. So that's not really accurate, because people, they tend to get discouraged if they think someone else can get something done so much faster than they can. But again, I think a common denominator on the big stuff that I got done and this is my new word for 2021 is collaborate more.
Oh,
So, and I think the reason I got a lot of big stuff done in 2020 was I collaborated with other people. I didn't try to do it all by myself. And so I'm super excited about 2021 for looking for great collaboration partners to do things with. I love what you and I do here. And I just find that I think more of that is going to help me with the bigger goals that I have.
Yep. Yeah. See, I've already gotten in the habit. I was waiting to hear your word of the year and you said it. And so I just put it in my notes on my phone forever.
There we go. Awesome. Well, it's, one thing I wanted to add, I was telling you about a YouTube I was watching the other day with Marie Forleo when she was interviewing, I think it's Todd Herman is his name. I'm big into habits books, and there's a great book I read over the Christmas holiday, and we can link it below, called 5 Minutes to Feeling Better. That was really good. Now this is a different guy that I'm going to tell you about, but we've all heard, be clear on your goals. We've all heard, number 2, he says, is set trigger goals, which what that means is, do something small. Like, for example, if you say you're going to work out in 2021, don't jump straight to working out if you hadn't been working out at all. Just for a week or so, put the workout clothes on. Yeah. So he calls that trigger goals. And then the third thing he said is set improvement goals and a date to attach to achieve those by. I thought that was pretty good. Yeah. Which I think we have all heard of SMART goals, but I think this is taking it a little bit deeper. And then number 4 was get social support, like a coach, a mentor, online community, or even a friend that's gone through what you're going through. And then number 5 was something that I've heard before, but I've never done it. And he says to script your setbacks. Talk about where you might stumble on achieving this goal. What does that say? And go ahead and get prepared for that. So I didn't tell you this, but Anna has SIBO, Bailey has SIBO, and Sarita has SIBO. I mean, there's a lot of people that I know lately that have been diagnosed with SIBO, myself included. Yeah, so that means I'm thinking to massively have to go on this crazy regimen. Well, I'm already panicking about, can I do this? I mean, it is like Anna drank a shake that had nothing but this powder and water for 2 weeks. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this, but I have to do it, right? There's no choice. So, I mean, if you don't take care of something like SIBO when you have it, it turns into Hashimoto's or some kind of autoimmune. And so
I didn't even know what that was until I had never even heard of that until you talked about it.
Oh, now there's so many people that do. I think it's because of all the oils in restaurants that we eat that's not really good oils and stuff. I think a lot of stress adds to it. It also can be triggered if you've had food poisoning. So this was real helpful for me because I've really been panicking. Like tomorrow I'll go do oral surgery. I'm going to get past that. Then I'm going to start the SIBO protocol. But I thought, what a great thing for me to do is go ahead and sit down and map out where my setbacks might be. Where might this be really hard to follow? What would keep me from, falling off on this and not following through with it? So anyway, I love that. That guy's name is Todd Herman. He's got some great products out there on the internet, but I just heard him on an interview and I thought, what a perfect timing. We're going to be talking about goals. And I think this is important for you to, when you're setting your goals, to go ahead and think through what setbacks you might have.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a great. I just wrote down like 3 things I need to do that with to think about where I already might struggle with this.
And, I think my big aha is I look at this planner on a daily basis. So go ahead and set either once a week that I go ahead and go through my goals, and rather than wait until the end of the year, I don't know, did you do this or not? Did you go through your list right towards the end of the year and say, is there any of them I can get accomplished before I didn't do it?
I think that's the competitive part in us.
Yeah, I was like, well, could I read another book? No, probably not. Could I? No, can't do that one either. And the problem is, one was so big, I couldn't do them at the last.
That would be, can I lose that last 10 pounds in the next?
Yeah. Can I go in the sauna and get down to 135 real quick?
Oh my gosh, that's too funny.
I love it. All right.
Well, next time. No, I'm just excited to get our next episode out. So now we can look towards and talk about 2021.
Yep, super excited. So remember, if you, the greatest compliment you can give Dana and I is to pass this podcast along to a friend. If you can think of someone would benefit from our conversations, be sure and pass the podcast along to them. And also remember, if you have a question, a concern, opportunity, just something that Dana and I might be able to help you through that opportunity or that challenge with, reach out to us and let us know at info@everything life and real estate. And then also be sure, if you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe below, and we'd love to have you give us a review. We just want to say we thank you for all the listening you did in 2020, and we hope that you come along with us in 2021. So Dana, I will see you next week.
Sounds good. See you then.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.